This is the plaintiff, Wynoma Hollis. She says the defendant, her ex-daughter-in-law, owes her for 2 grave plots she's been paying for. The defendant refuses to pay her what she owes. She's being very rude and spiteful, and she's here suing her for the $4,722.32 she's rightfully owed. This is the defendant, Shonda Whitaker Ward. She says she got remarried after the plaintiff's son, her ex-husband, passed away, and now the plaintiff is mad at her. They had a huge falling out. The plaintiff told her she didn't want the remaining family plots to go to her anymore. This is now one big giant mess, and she needs the judge to help sort this all out today so they can all move on. She's accused of causing a grave situation.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Wynoma Hollis?
Yes.
You are suing Shonda Whitaker Ward?
Yes.
For $4,722.32, $1,722 of it, the remaining balance due for 2 grave plots, which is really what the subject matter of the lawsuit is, and $3,000 for emotional stress, which is really the subject of why we're here. Talk to me.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
On March 20th,
Why don't you take a moment to compose yourself? Shonda, what happened on March 20th of 2010?
My daughter, Tiffany, was killed.
How did this happen?
It was just a random gunshot. And
She was in a car?
She was in a car.
Who was she with?
My other daughter and her cousins and a friend.
And they were in a bad neighborhood?
They was in a bad neighborhood, yes.
And a stray bullet ended up hitting your daughter?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it
The car was hit several times, but one ricocheted into the car and hit my daughter in the stomach.
Okay, your daughter was 16 at the
My
time.
daughter was 16 at the time.
No one was ever caught?
No, her
Your
case
daughter
still
passed
remain
away?
unsolved. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And
Now, at the time, you were married to her son?
we was going through, yes. I was
Were you
married.
actually married, or?
We was married.
Okay.
We've been married for over
And
21 years.
how long were you married?
About 21 years.
21 years, all right. So when this happens, you had a burial plot.
yes.
So what did you offer your son and daughter-in-law?
I let them know that I had a plot that was already paid for, and I was giving it to Tiffany.
Okay, in order to bury,
Yes. And we went to the funeral home, and after I signed the paperwork over for Tiffany to be buried, the salesperson started talking to Timmy and Shauna about 3 other grave plots. So she convinced them to buy 3 other plots,
for whom?
one for her, one for him, and one for me.
So that you could be buried next to Tiffany.
Yes.
I'm so sorry for all of your loss.
Thank you.
I cannot even imagine what the 2 of you are going through and will for the rest of your lives. So you and, tell me your son's name.
Timothy.
Tim. So you and Tim enter into a contract to purchase the 3 other plots.
Yes,
And the 2 of you are making the payments on it
yes.
from 2010, when you purchased them, until 2012. And what happened in 2012?
Well, 2012 is when her son took his life.
He killed
No,
himself.
no. 2012 is when they divorced.
Oh.
2014
Is
is
when
when
he
my
killed
son
himself.
took
Yes,
his
Does that sound right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and can you tell me why you divorced?
It was hard dealing with Tiffany death, and we both didn't know how to deal with it. So I really needed my husband to be there with me And he was a good father, but not a really great husband. So we always had problems in our marriage, but I just needed his support at that time. I was doing things in the community, like a march every 20th of each month. He couldn't understand why I was doing it. And I started a foundation, Tiffany name, and just really being active to try to continue that great memory about, you know, the great legacy about my daughter. And I wanted to do good things in her honor. And he just couldn't understand why I was doing it.
I guess everybody grieves differently,
Yes.
but we all have to respect each other's way of dealing with things. So you divorced, and he took his life
Yes.
in 2014. And I imagine that Tiffany's death had a lot to do with that.
Yes, Tiffany after that.
Now, in 2014, what happens when you have to bury him now, but the payments are not fully made, correct?
Right.
Correct.
I, excuse me, I go to the funeral home to claim my son's plot. And I learned at that time that nothing had been paid on the plot since
Our
2010.
divorce, yes.
Since when?
Since,
Two-
well,
two-
after
2010.
after I divorced, because we was paying
Since
on it.
2012.
Yes, it's 2012.
Okay. So you come in and they tell you, we can revive this plan if you just what? What did they tell you? Because they didn't just say tough for you. They tried to work with you.
No, well, I paid for Timmy's plot.
You paid the?
I paid for his plot,
For your son's plot.
for my son's plot.
So you had paid, but this wasn't a new plot. This was one, they told you pay this one in full and you can bury him in this one.
Right.
And then that left. Okay, so you did that and you had paid for Tiffany's because you gave her yours.
Right.
And you buried your son.
Yes.
Now, at the time, were the two of you on good terms?
Oh, yeah, we was on good terms.
Very good terms. Even though the divorce had happened 2 years
Right.
earlier, you were
Right.
on good terms. In fact, did you work together?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
where were you working together?
She was working for me I have a private school in memories of Tiffany. And then I partnered with someone else at the beginning of the year, but that didn't go well. And so Ms. Hollis stayed over there. And that's when all of this began, once she stayed over there to the other school.
Okay, hold on, back it up then. You had a school in Tiffany's honor. How is it
I
in
still
Tiffany's
do.
honor? Is that the name of the school?
Yes, it is. It's
Okay.
called TDH, stands
Okay.
for Tiffany Darche Hollis.
Okay. And you were partners with another person who isn't here.
Yeah,
And
just only for a
you
couple of
it did not work
months.
out between you and the other person, and then she went to work for the other person?
She stayed with the other person.
She stayed with the other person. So you left there, but what happened to TDH?
I continued to run TDH.
Okay, but your former mother-in-law didn't come with you to break
Exactly.
ties. And that's when you two start to have problems.
Yes.
Now, what was the arrangement that the two of you had come to about how the remaining balance on the remaining two plots would be paid?
She and I both agreed that we would pay for our own plot. She would give me $400 $100 every 4 months. That's $25 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would send it to the funeral home.
On the
each
day
month.
that you bury your son and you make, or shortly thereafter when you make this agreement, how much is owed on the plot?
At the time,
Plot.
1,700.
How much? 1,700?
I really don't know. I just started paying. At the time, I didn't know at the time. I have all the papers. The papers when
Can I
we-
see the papers?
Okay. This is the paper that was signed. I hope you can see it.
This is, okay, you went to them and you got a payoff letter, meaning, okay, how much is due now for both plots to be paid for in full?
Yes.
And that's $1,706.
Yes.
Okay, but everybody agrees that you were paying it equally all the way until the time that you
Yes.
two broke
Yes,
up.
Yes.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
At some point, you talked to each other and you proposed
No.
what?
No, we never talked to each other. I don't want to talk with her.
She ended everything. Can
I
I
sure did.
say something else?
Why did you not want anything else to do with her? Because she sided with the other person who you were having problems with?
Yes. And what I was doing, my school is in her granddaughter's honor, and
So she should have gone with you?
exactly.
Why did you decide to stay with that person?
I did not like the way she used her sister, Tony, was liaison between me and her. Tony talked to people like trash. Shonda doesn't talk like Tony, but she can be very harsh. I did not like that. And she and I had a couple of altercations even before this. And I saw things going downhill. And I was very glad when we merged with D3.
When you merged with the other, right? And you
Right,
wanted to stay there. Who is this gentleman?
This is my husband.
Okay. And did you folks all get along?
No. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. So here we are now, and
And can I say something?
you were suing her because she's just decided not to pay for the plots anymore.
The reason why at first I didn't decide, I didn't want the plots anymore. Ms. Hollis, she kept coming to my school and sending letters, sending letters, really harsh letters saying that I'm not a mother unless I'm on television, and how can I be a mother, never go out there and visit my daughter's gravesite, but I didn't feel like I had to speak with her. And she said she paid off the,
Is that true?
No, it's not true, and I have a copy of the letter that I wrote to her.
May I see them?
Right
you have
here.
both of them?
Yes.
Do you have them or you tossed them?
I throw them away.
You are a bully and you need to stop being a bully. Let's talk about Tiffany. I was never involved in the foundation you set up, so don't bring Tiffany into this to get your way. It won't work with me. I go out to my granddaughter's grave all during the year, and I especially go out there on her birthday. How often do you go to her grave? Only when the TV camera is there. Mm-hmm. That is very hurtful. And
That
I think
is.
what she's doing is her attempt to strike back at you because you must have said to her, I can't believe you won't come back. This is your granddaughter. I don't think either one of you are innocent of not deliberately hurting the other person's feelings.
But but do you know why I be on the TV, in front of the cameras all the time? I try to continue my daughter. Her case is unsolved, so anytime I do something, I try to have the media there, so I could continue her unsolved
Are you
case.
still doing the march every 20th?
I do it every 20th,
Every 20th of every month
every month,
for the last 6 years?
6 years.
This shouldn't happen to either of you. Nobody should be in the position of burying their child. It is not natural. My mother had to do it. It is not natural. And burying a grandchild and a child is awful. Awful. So if there's anyone that should understand your pain, it's her. And if there's anyone that should understand your pain, it's her. What do both of you think Tiffany would think of this?
She wouldn't like it at all.
I don't think she would.
She would.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Why is it that a lot of times in-laws take divorce harder and are more vindictive than spouses themselves who get divorced?
I think they're more protected over their kids. They want to see them go to someone nice, and it kind of breaks their heart when they're trusting somebody.
Fair enough, you're nodding.
Yes, they don't want their kids to get hurt.
But sometimes their kids are the ones who did bad, but they always seem to be upset at the other person, right?
Yeah, I mean,
somebody, usually both sides do something wrong when this happens, right?
yeah, of course.
But they still want to villainize the other person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just has to do with, like, you're so close to the child. I mean, that's your child, but I mean, you know, what we hate, they hate, so.
Fair enough. But you don't have to hate, right?
Yeah.
Hate. Going inside the courtroom.
I'm here because she's asking me to enforce a contract, and I'm going to enforce the contract. I'm going to do the math, and I'm going to accelerate your payments because that's what happens when you don't pay on a loan. But what I can't help you take care of is what you two do with each other after you leave my courtroom. I understand that you feel like she hasn't supported you. Not only not supported you, but took some really vicious stabs at you. I understand that you feel that, and you need to understand that she feels that. You also need to understand that she is free to choose how she wants to spend her own days. That's her life too. She doesn't have to follow you, and it's not disloyal to Tiffany for her not to follow you. But I am just having such difficulty with the idea that if you're doing everything right to try to keep her memory alive and honor her, that you too do not end up patching this up. Because there is nothing that you could do to honor your granddaughter more than to patch it up with her mother. And nothing that you could do to honor your daughter more than to patch it up with each other. We go through this life, and there are very few people who've known us 25 years this well. Very few. You've both hurt each other. You've both said things that were designed to hurt each other. Forgive each other. It is up to you where you want to be buried, but it is up to me what debt you agree to pay and then have to pay, because it was a contract between the two of you. I am going to take the payoff amount, okay? And that is a total of $1,706.25. You are suing for much more than that. For emotional stress, you don't get to collect for emotional stress. And then you're suing for the entire of the payoff amount. Wouldn't what she have to pay, according to your last agreement, be half of that payoff amount? Order to pay $853.12.
Right, that's what I wanted from the very
That
beginning.
is what I'm going to do. I want you folks to do something for me. I've done a lot of cases. I really have. I've been doing this so long. I've seen so much. It's this case breaks my heart. It really does. All right, fix it. Just fix it. Fix it. Forgive each other and fix it. Okay, fix it. Okay, life is too short, and then you're going to end up regretting it later. Fix it. Honor Tiffany by fixing it. You carry your weight around here and make them fix it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? All right. And you know what? Drop me a line in a few months and tell me how you fixed it, because I want to have a little happiness. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So in a very, very emotional case, the plaintiff has prevailed. You know, the judge just really did give you quite a talking to. It was a very emotional speech on her part. I have to ask you, do you think you can fix it with your former daughter-in-law?
No, because it would be with the whole family.
You're not willing
Yeah, because
to try?
I was willing to try. I wanted to talk to her. I would call her, but she would not respond to me at all. And
Suppose I ask her to come out here right now. Can I do that? Come here, Shonda. If you'll step over here, right next to your former mother-in-law. Let me ask you, do you think you are willing to fix it, to do as the judge just asked? I mean, you've known each other well over 20 years, almost 25 years. Can't you help put your arm around her and say, let's fix this? Give it a try? Would you be willing?
I forgive her.
yeah, I'm always forgiving.
forgive
Just
her.
You will?
I've never.
You gonna try?
Oh.
Really? Promise?
You know what? I have never not liked Shonda until this happened. But the whole family gets into the
Here,
situation.
let me
it
hold
would be
this
a
for you.
problem.
Give her a hug.
Okay.
Give her a hug. Come on. You're going to be behind this?
I am.
Work at it, okay? Hey, listen, thank you. This is really a tragic case. We're so sorry to hear this. I hope you can keep your marches going, and I hope you two work this out totally. Make this hug last, okay? All right. You can go on out now. Thank you. Wow. Harvey, your turn.
So look, Doug, I think, when you're dealing with a relative and there's a big conflict that might end up in court, I think it's a good idea to go to a lawyer who doesn't have a dog in the fight, have the lawyer sit down. If there's a contract, read over the contract, hear whatever it is. Maybe they can give you guidance on who's right, at least right legally, so you can avoid actually taking that person or ending up in court. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.